All right guys, so today's video is gonna be on bug out bags or get home bags, whatever you wanna call it. This is a really cool video, a lot of information, so make sure to stay tuned. For any of you guys that are trying to become a bit more prepared, or those of you guys that wanna prepare for a natural disaster, whether the grid's down, anything like that. So definitely stay tuned for this video, whether you have a bag already or if you're interested in making a bag. Like I said, a lot of information is gonna be in this video. I was lucky enough to attend a class earlier. USCCA partnered up with 511 and they do classes throughout the nation on different types of preparedness. And tonight's class was bug out bags, hosted by Barely Training, which is really cool. A lot of information here. We're gonna be going over get home bags, bug out bags, a 72-hour bag, and more. Not only are we gonna talk about what to put into them, we're gonna talk about bag considerations, why you should consider certain items, and all the above. So again, really cool video. Make sure to stay tuned. If you guys have any questions or comments, make sure to shoot me a comment down below. And with that being said, let's go ahead and get into the video.
We're here to do bug out bags today. I'm gonna say bug out bag a lot. Emergency bags is what USCCA calls it. There's other terminology that you'll hear throughout the night, but I'm probably gonna say bug out bag or get home bag a lot because that's just the terminology I use. So tonight we're gonna go over the purpose of them, like why we have them, what they do, the different objectives, and I will literally have examples of the 3 different objectives that we're gonna talk about tonight. We're gonna talk about the everyday bag, we're gonna talk about the get home bag, and we're gonna talk about the 72-hour emergency bag. Purpose of emergency bag. There are countless scenarios you might need to get somewhere at a moment's notice with minimal time to prepare, right? Different objectives. Depending on the nature of the emergency, you might have to leave work mid-shift, immediately get to your children's school. Bugging out or hunkering down. This is a key factor of these bags, guys. The 72-hour bag that we talked about earlier is kind of like a get out 72-hour bag, but the hunker down is your house. Your house is your bag. All the stuff in your house. And that's where you kind of get into the home prepper, the home preparedness stuff. So that's kind of a different topic. But this is a really, really important and interesting study that the Emergency Evacuation Report Card. They surveyed 37 of the largest cities in the country. They defined it by over 1 million residents. Each suburban area received a score based on its exit and internal traffic flow. Exit being the key word, okay? How many exits are there in San Diego, freeways, that leave San Diego? So you have 3 freeways to evacuate over 1 million people. You guys ever seen the beginning of The Walking Dead? You guys remember that freeway where it's just cars as far as you can see and he's on a horse? Yeah, that's San Diego if something happens, I guarantee you. There ain't no way you're driving out of San Diego in that kind of emergency. So that's where the hunkering down part kind of starts to come in. But this study is very, very interesting. And I actually dug into it a little bit deeper because of the evacuation difficulties and fact that people would require to shelter in place. Most people are not prepared to shelter in place. So their immediate response to something like that is going to be to get out. So if you can be one of those people that can hunker down for a small amount of time and then leave, your chances may be better. My second part of this hunkering down versus leaving, where are you going? Do you have that plan existing? Do you have a plan of where you're gonna go? So there's a lot of stuff to think about before that. So maybe hunkering down for the first 72 hours, which they talk about, is the right example. They are graded A through F. All right, guys, here is the actual study. Kansas City, the only one that got an A. I've never been there, but they gotta have a 50 freeways getting out of that town, I swear. San Diego was 32 out of 37. As far as I'm concerned, these 5 cities below us can burn to the ground. We got Los Angeles, Chicago, New York, Miami, San Francisco. But then comes San Diego. That's where I live. 32 out of 37. What does that tell you? Right there, we ain't getting out. Not getting out. We're not even in the C category. I mean, D, we're not. So it's really frightening to see studies like this. This is incredibly eye-opening that for hunker down, there's a real choice for us. It's a real thing. Bag selection. Size and type will be determined by the 3 topics we talked about, right? Your everyday bag, your get home bag, and your 72-hour bag. Because my 72-hour bag is not gonna be a fanny pack. So size and type, 511 has some really cool examples. I grabbed this bright blue one over here. You guys see those backpacks in the back, the camo ones with the molly on them? What does that scream? Military or prepared, armed. What do I not want to tell people?
That you're prepared.
All those things right there, right? Someone sees that in my car, my truck, and they go, ooh, that looks like stealing. My bag in my car, guys, I have it down here. It's literally my son's backpack from last year. What does this say in my car? Look how dirty and beat up it is. Yeah, nobody ain't gonna care. Guess what? This plate carrier lives in this backpack. How gray, man, is that? Everyone sees this in my car. They're not gonna think, oh, he's got ammo, he's got knives, he's got plates. No, that's not what this reads. So bag selection, guys, is incredibly important, designed on what you're gonna do. So that falls into bag selection of how you're gonna wear the bag, or in this case, how you disguise it. Purposeful packing, this is where we get into really the more important is the 72-hour bag where you're purposeful packing. Consider what you pack and how you pack it. If I have a pocket knife, it's not packed at the bottom of my bag, right? Because I'm gonna need this probably more often than I'm gonna need a sleeping bag, right? I'll need a sleeping bag once a day, but my pocket knife I could be using all the time. So how you pack things is very, very important, not only for your back, your physical body, but the ease of getting stuff. Like I said, when I show you the 72-hour bag, the sleeping bag is, I call it the trash bag method, literally the very bottom thing in the backpack, because it's the last thing I get out at the end of the bag. I'll pull my tent out before that, set up my tent, and then finally pull my sleeping bag out to keep it from one dry spot to another. I am carrying it in a dry sack, but I still don't want to just take it out and set it on the side wherever I am while I'm setting up my tent. So purposeful packing is important. Pack light, compressible items at the bottom, which kind of talked about. Pack your outer clothing layers, first aid supplies, and toiletries towards the top. Again, things you're not gonna need as quick, things you are gonna need as quick. So this is a really cool slide that demonstrates how to pack that bag. The 1 section here is midweight items. The red is heavy items. The 3 is lightest items. And then these are light items. And this to me is the easiest accessible items right here, because I can just easily throw off my backpacks right on top. I can grab that stuff easily. The middle back against the actual back panel is the heaviest items, including cookware, hydration, hip pockets. That's for stuff that you just need while you're walking. The bottom is your bedding, stuff that you will not need until the very end of that bag. All right, so now we're gonna get to the go everywhere bags. And I have an example. Again, how cool guy tactical does that look? It's actually Oakley. While some bags may stay in a closet at home or in a locker at work, or in the trunk of your car, you may also opt to keep a bag with you. So this is for people that want to literally carry it around. As women, you have a distinct advantage. You're usually carrying a purse, right? This is that. For us guys, we gotta do something different. Look at the things that we can put in these, you know. This is probably one that we'll never actually have to use. Emergency rain poncho here in San Diego, right? Rains like twice a year. But look at what I have in here. Spare mag, flashlight, multi-tool, and fixed blade. These are items that would be extremely handy to me on a regular day basis, but I don't have big enough pockets. Again, as a female, these items will easily fit in your purse, no problem. I don't have that luxury. So these are some of the things that I would carry that if I was a fanny pack kind of guy, which I'm not. If you are, go for it. More power to you. Again, they don't have to be fanny packs, guys. This one's a great example of a 511 crossbody. Those are a lot more comfortable. The crossbody I see becoming a lot more popular because it is a lot more comfortable. Think of this as an extension of your pockets. Pretty much what you could use on an everyday basis that you're like, oh man, I wish I had it. Put it in here, right? Simple, simple enough. Your everyday get home bag. While some bags may stay in your closet at home, or with you every day, this is designed to stay in the locker at work or in the trunk of your car. I described the trunk of my car because I don't work from an office. So my office is my car. Some essentials you could pack include food, a hat or clothes for the elements, signaling tools, fire making tools, a poncho, rain gear, a tomahawk or knife, emergency blanket / shelter, individual first aid kit, plate carrier with spare ammo, and a skateboard? So this, guys, is my bug out bag. All of this stays in my car 100% of the time. I showed you the bag. All of this goes into 2 bags. I have another one down there. But look what I have here, guys. This is designed to get me home. That's it. I'm not designing this to sustain the rest of my life with. This is designed to last a day or two because I can cover enough distance in a day or two to get home. I can carry all this on my back, no problem. So let's go through those things individually. Food. See one of these before? Yeah. You'll notice that this one is duct tape shut. That's because I pulled out all the stuff I don't like and I just kept the food I do like in this one. These bags are waterproof. So if once you seal it back up, fold it over on itself, you can store these pretty much forever. These are your commercially available food. This used to be bars. As you can see, it's no longer bars. It's now a survival crumble. But I actually did a backpacking trip with a couple of my friends, and I lived off this for 4 days. They were still bars at that point, but I lived off just this bag and one beef jerky bags are like that big. I lived off this and that for 4 days just to see if I could do it, just to see what it was like. And I did. I got home and I was craving a cheeseburger, but this will give you calories, and the beef jerky, I would literally take one bite of beef jerky after eating this just so I didn't have this taste in my mouth and my brain could tell me, oh, I'm eating something good. Because there's a lot to it that your brain, you have to trick. One of the things that I didn't even mention on there is a deck of cards. You're alone on the side of the highway, bugging out, the world's going crazy. You just want to take a minute to yourself, play a game of solitaire. Just relax. Just take your mind off things a little bit. So that beef jerky was just to take my mind off this. I did not enjoy eating this for 4 days. It tastes not great, but I did it. And I lived, and it was 4 days. So I could definitely get home from anywhere in the San Diego County to Ramona within 4 days. I know how fast I can walk. I know my longevity of a day, so I can do that. And this will get me there. I won't be happy about it, but it'll get me there. In a survival situation, a lot of the things that you're gonna have to deal with, won't be happy with about it, but I can do it. So next topic is hats, clothing for the elements. How small can a hat get to keep you out of the elements, right? An element jacket. This is just a windbreaker, but the fact that it has long sleeves and a hood on a hot day, this will be a lifesaver. This will keep your skin from sunburning. It's light, it'll keep you out of the elements. And not only that, but if it does get cold, a windbreaker, though it is light, will actually really help keep you warm. It'll trap your heat in and not allow cold air to get in. So a windbreaker is a really good thing to keep in a bug out bag because of the fact that it's so light and small, but it actually serves a dual purpose to block you from the sun and not generate too much heat. But when it is cold, it works the opposite way. A hat will keep you out of the sun. It'll keep your eyes from squinting, especially if we're walking home from who knows where, we're gonna be in the sun and elements. So these are two vital things to keep in there. Signaling tools. So this kind of works as a triple threat. I'll get to that in a second. This is kind of my small applications bag. That right there, guys, it's actually a smoke grenade. Civilian legal, commercially available smoke grenade. But if I was trying to signal someone, I bet someone's gonna notice that. And they sell them in colors too. If I pop smoke, it's blue, purple, red, green, whatever, and you have some kind of distress, you can pop that and people will see you from miles around. It's an old military tactic, it's easy. You know, everybody knows pop smoke, there they are. This one is from sportsmoke.com, but if you go to most airsoft shops, they have the commercially available. They have even smaller ones than this now. And they're like 10 bucks. I would say get 2 or 3, pop one, know how it works, because you don't wanna, first time you pop, it's an emergency, right? And you're like, oh, this is not working the way I thought it was, and there you go, you screwed it up. In here, kind of buried in here, I'm not gonna pull this whole bag apart, but signal mirrors, you would be surprised at how easy it is to signal someone with a mirror. Signaling mirrors are excellent ways to signal, especially if you don't necessarily wanna pop smoke all the time. So signaling devices are really, really good. Glow sticks, these are white and green. The important thing about glow sticks, guys, is they do have a burn time. So you can get really, really incredibly bright ones that are only good for 15 minutes. This one's a 12-hour one, this one's an 8-hour one. So I would look into your glow sticks. Don't go buy the ones that are 99 cents from Walmart. They're junk. They're fun for your kids. Yeah, I crack them and throw them, give them the kids, and they're done in an hour, right? And they're not even bright. But look into this company. I'll spell it for you because I have no idea how to say it. It's CYALUME. This company makes the best glow sticks on the market. They're the ones who provide directly to the military, but they do have a bunch of civilian ones. You'll have to find these more at like a backpacking store or a military surplus store or online, but get the good ones, guys. If you're gonna get glow sticks, please don't cheap out. Get the good ones if you're really trying to use them for signaling. And the buzzsaw technique is when you take this and you tie a string around it and you spin the string, it makes a glowing circle. So at night, that's incredible to see. You can spin it from above so they can see down, or like this so they can see out. It works incredible. This company makes one that's encased in like kind of like a toothbrush holder, like a hard toothbrush holder, So if you fall down on it or you sit on it or whatever, you don't actually crack it. And then it has the string attached to it already. So literally you open the packaging, it will be good because it didn't break. And then the strings are attached to it and you can start signaling with it. Fire making tools. I have an entire bag dedicated to fire making. Since cavemen, humans have been comforted by fire. A small fire can not only give you warmth, it can give you peace of mind. You sit by the fire. How many people have sat by the fire and just stared at it at night? Right? Everybody, right? It's just mesmerizing, it's relaxing. It's the same thing. And I actually carry, you can see right there, a beeswax candle. So I don't have to start a whole fire. I can start a small fire and feed it with shredded paper enough to just keep it going. But I don't want to start this and catch everything I have on fire. I want to keep a small contained fire to keep warmth and to keep that peace of mind. Remember, bugging out is because of, what was that keyword earlier? Emergency, right? The key to this bag, guys, is try this stuff. Don't just buy it. 511 had something that I saw was incredibly awesome. It's a lighter that uses no fuel. It's a fuel-free plasma lighter that you recharge on USB. But use this stuff. Like this candle was a pack of 5. I used 3 just trying to figure out how to light the thing with a flint and steel. Because flint and steel, again, caveman technology, but it works. So there's different methods you can do. This I keep separate because I don't necessarily always want to dig into this, right? I want a separate fire kit that I can get to easily without having to dump my whole bag out. So that's why I keep this. And there's multiple methods in here. There's dry matches, flint and steel, a lighter. Have you guys ever heard of Esbit stoves? This right here is an Esbit cube. They smell terrible, but this is some kind of space age solid mass that just burns continuously for like 4 hours or something like that. I don't like Esbit stoves because you're basically trying to cook food over a candle. You can imagine how long that's gonna take. But the fuel for them is incredible. It'll just keep burning and burning and burning and burning. And you can use that, your next avenue of fire. Poncho rain gear / emergency blanket shelter is this right here, guys. This thing is basically a giant trash bag, right? I can open this up, but this is an emergency sleeping bag. This is an emergency rain shelter. This is an emergency tent. This is an emergency poncho. This literally has its survival instructions printed on it and signaling tool. Can you guys see that from the back? Giant orange thing, right? Even if I let this go all the way out and I stood up in it, that's a huge signaling tool. You will notice this in the distance, a giant orange thing jumping up and down. I guarantee you that. And look how small it gets, right? I had it folded up. There we go. That's it. This is designed for emergency stuff, but it fits so much of the criteria of this getting home bag that this is essential. You gotta have one of these. Individual first aid kit. This entire bag right here and this entire bag right here are all dedicated to medical supplies. Because when I'm trying to get home, there's nothing that's gonna stop me, including medical emergencies. So I'm not gonna get into the depths of the medical stuff here because this is an entire separate training. This is an entire separate class on how to use this stuff. I would highly recommend taking the next step of a first aid class and then building out your first aid kit. Plate carrier with spare ammo, that kind of evolves into a different echelon than bug out bags. The plate carrier and spare ammo is a get home, same thing with Tomahawk. This is my lifestyle. I own a firearms training company. This is my lifestyle. This to me is essential to get home. So I'm not gonna go too deep into that, but this, guys, how many people have a skateboard in their car? Let me ask you a simple question. Why walk when you can roll? Like if we're out here and everyone's walking and I can literally stand there and roll, how much energy am I saving? If I'm designing my next 3 days to walk home, how much energy can I save on a downhill just standing there? How much faster can I be on a downhill just standing there? I'm not saying everyone needs to go out and learn how to skateboard, but think of this in your bug out bag plan, because literally I can get to the front of the store in the back faster than you guys can walk, and I can just stand there, right? So this is essential to me and my plan on how to get home, because I can just roll when I don't have to walk. So that kind of goes through my personal get home kit. There's more in depth, a compass. If I'm going home from here, I'm gonna literally walk on the freeway, right? But say we're in Colorado, where my house is right over there, but the freeway goes that way and then that way to get to my house, and I need to cut through the woods. That's where a compass might come into play. A knife sharpener comes into play. Scissors, a gas on and off valve. This stuff all comes into play, but do me a favor, learn how to use it. Don't just buy it, throw it in the bag, and think that when the day happens, you're gonna know how to use it. This right here, it's an actual military escape and evade kit. Like legitimately, lock picks, everything you can think of is in this kit right here. The military issued this to me and told me with this, I can get out of any situation possible. Think about that. And I just have this. So with all that, how much more comfortable do I feel? Don't feel like you shouldn't buy stuff because you're not trained on it. Make the decision to buy it, get trained on it. I mean, look at YouTube. You can learn anything on YouTube these days. All right, so that 72-hour bag, that's the one that's that big boy. That's this guy. You ready? Come on, you got it. All right, turn your that way. Put your arms back. Good? Yep. All right, we'll cinch this up. Oops, sorry. Now pull on these towards me. Just tighten them as much as you can. Good? Yep. How's that feel? How far could you walk with that?
A while.
A while? Like 40 minutes? Yeah. Well, your home's 3 days away. Yeah, it'll get you there. This actual backpack with everything in it, I've lived out of for 2 weeks. So the beauty of 72-hour bag is almost identical to a backpacking backpack. Everything that you would need to go backpacking for 2 weeks, which I did in this bag, it's the same exact equipment. The only difference, and this is not real, let me preference that right now. The only difference is this. This is an airsoft gun, just to be clear. The only difference between a backpacking backpack and a bug out bag is this. You have a planned protection. This is your kind of escape, evacuate bag. This is the one where you're gonna like, okay, I'm getting out of San Diego. So this is my backpacking backpack. My wife has her backpacking backpack. We do not share stuff. The only thing we might load share is the tent, because that's the only one thing. But I need to be responsible for all the things that keep me alive. And sadly enough, I can't carry the weight of her in that situation. I can carry some stuff and I can help her, but guess what? We also have kids. So now I'm also carrying the kids' stuff because they can't carry their own stuff. The pillars, water, that's the key one that we talked about, right? Especially here in San Diego. Food, shelter, safety or security. Notice all of that was mimicked in this bag as well. Just the get home bag, but this one is the statement. So this one is I'm planning to live off this bag for a while. Water, this is a really cool way. Back there, you said you have a life straw, right? How do you like it? You've used it? I dare you to go use it. That's the biggest part about this stuff is you gotta know how to use it. This is called a SteriPen. I have one right here. This is what I use. This uses batteries and a UV light to sterilize water. Your water will still be chunky. It does not get the dirt out of it. But a great solution to that is pantyhose over the mouth of a bottle. It gets all the chunks and dirt out. But this is a really cool feature because I can just leave it in a bottle. You click once for a liter of water, turns the light on, it'll turn off when it's done, and that water is now safe to drink. Walmart actually sells one of the best inline, the Sawyer one, the inline water filtration systems. All I did was I took a Camelback hose, I cut the hose, and I put it in line of the hose. So now when I fill up the bag and I drink, it's automatically filtering the water as I drink it. But drinking out of it, it's like sucking through a milkshake. It's not just drinking through water because you're actually sucking the water through the filtration system. Get out and use that stuff so that when you're in emergency, you're not like, oh, is this thing broke? Why isn't it working? What's going on? Same thing with this thing. You know, the first time I used this, you better guarantee it wasn't in horse water off a stream somewhere. It was in some clean water. I wanted to see how it worked. I wanted to see what was going on, right? Use your gear, get to know it. This, like I said, I usually have 2 Camelbacks when I'm backpacking. One is dirty water, one is clean water. Fill this one, hit the SteriPen, or use the life straw or the Sawyer thing, filter in another bag. So water is the key thing here, especially in San Diego. Find a source, does not have to be clean. You are in charge of making it clean. There's a failable factor in this, because if you get that dirty water on the rim of the water bottle and you drink from that rim, you just drank the dirty water, you put those bad things in your body. That's why I say use your stuff. The first time I used it, I saw a wet rim and I was like, oh, I failed, right? I had to learn how to use this. And they do make lids for Nalgene bottles now that screw on, that this literally goes down into, so that you can't do that. So that's pretty cool. Huge advantage there. The Life Straw and the Sawyer, it's kind of hard to screw those up. Like I said, I fill up the Camelback and I suck the water through. Kind of hard to fail. Stoves. This is food. Again, you guys all saw this one. These are phenomenal. With a stove, you can add hot water to this and you got a really nice meal on your hands. They do now sell ones that are vacuum sealed, so they're about half the size, but the same amount of food. So it's actually pretty good because you can pack twice as much. I'll hit cooking real quick and then I'll kind of just dump this. One of the things that my wife likes when we're backpacking, which would mean off the grid, a supply, is a cup of tea. So this is not only one of those mind things, this is a nutrition thing. So here's the stove to cook on that. And you cook right on there, sets up like this, the jet fuel's in there, you got your teacups and everything. So look at stuff like this for bag out bags. Everything that she could possibly need is contained right here, right? She can heat her water for the mountain house. She can have a cup of tea straight out of the pot. She can boil water to clean it, another option. Shelter, a 4-man tent right here. I can carry this basically by myself. A 4-man tent weighs 5.7 pounds. Sometimes I can split that load between 2 people, like if anyone's together, you split that load, you're each carrying 2.5 pounds of a 4-man shelter. That's pretty amazing to keep you safe, to keep you dry. Light, we kind of went through that. Light to me is one of those things that needs to be an easy resource to get to because it gets dark quick. And sometimes you need to be able to get to that pretty quick. Headlamps are amazing in these types of situations. If I'm trying to start a light a fire, I can't be holding a flashlight with my shoulder or my mouth. The headlamp will get you there. Security, that went into security as well. We kind of talked about this. This is kind of what makes a backpacking backpack a bug out bag. Normally, if I was gonna actually bug out, I'd probably be wearing this and that, and I'd probably have a rifle because bugging out means I'm going for the long haul. I'm abandoning what I have and going out to protect or go somewhere else. Medical, we kind of went into that. Medical stuff is very, very important, but know how to use your medical stuff is the paramount of that. 30-day kit, guys. This is the part where I kind of went into your 30-day kit's kind of your house, right? Or your car. In a 30-day scenario, you're not gonna live out of a backpack for 30 days. You can, it's very possible. In fact, guys that do the PCT do it all the time. But in a 30-day kit like that, that's something that you just pack your car. Pretend you're leaving house and anything you think is important, pack it, go. 30-day kit can be your pantry. It can be a closet in your living room, whatever. You don't necessarily need to have a box for that scenario. Just have a set aside part of your house. Like, we're not gonna eat these MREs because we're lazy tonight. These are packed away for a specific reason, right? So that's the 30-day kit. And then next steps, get training. What have I talked about? Right there, boom, big letters. Emergency first aid was a huge one. And I think the second slide here, next steps, get a bag, test it out. Training, testing. Those are the 2 things that I could say are gonna help you learn to use all this stuff. If you get this and throw it in your car and have no idea what's in it, it will not save your life because you're gonna be reading the back, bleeding out. You're gonna be like, oh, I didn't pack Band-Aids. It's important that you know what you have and then you move into it and you learn how to use it. So training, get a bag, start there. Everything you notice, bug out bags, everyday bags, get home bags, starts there. Baofeng radios. These things are awesome. You have to program them into them. If you get a ham license, you're technically able to operate on ham channels. In an emergency, you do not need a license to operate on a ham channel. That is one caveat that most people don't know. In emergencies, anyone can talk on a ham channel. So if you get one of these and you have ham channels on it, these things also do FM and AM radio. which is kind of cool. They are battery powered, so there's that. So radios and communication is key, but that's something you're gonna have to design with your squad. If all of you are my squad, you'd all have this radio with the exact same channels programmed into it, right? And I wouldn't have to say, go to channel 97.83. I'd say go to channel 3. And then anyone that's listening to us would be like, well, what's channel 3? Doesn't matter because it's our channel, right? So communication and radios would be more of an individual plan for your group of people. There are, like when I was in Alaska hunting bear, I had a little thing that I could literally press one button and it sent a text to 5 people that said, I'm great, see you soon. And I would press that every night. I was in the middle of nowhere in Alaska. You could just press that button, use satellites, send a text. So, but that's a whole different thing than bugging out. Bugging out is, let's say cell phones are down, radios are down, your dependency on life matters on what's in your bag. That is it. So you guys, this all provided security for your physical self. It provided life-sustaining support for your physical self.
All right, guys, so yeah, really cool class. As you can tell, a lot of information there. I know I have a lot of work to do with making some changes to my Get Home bag. I thought it was nice to just be able to show that for you guys and help you guys, for some of you that are looking to build a bag, or maybe some of you guys that want to make some changes to your bag for the better. Huge shout out to Barely Training, USCCA, and 511. Again, that was really cool of them to put that class on for free. If you guys have any questions or comments, make sure to show me a comment down below. I hope you guys enjoyed the video today, and thank you for watching.